Welcome to Gym Bag Talk Podcast, episode 13, actual 13.
Lucky number 13. Today's not Friday, is it?
No, today's not Friday.
It's Saturday. We're doing this on a Saturday morning. This actually feels nice.
Yeah, it does. Simple.
It's raining outside. Chilling.
Cut of weather.
Yeah, well, we're kind of close. Like arm length apart, shoulder distance.
Yeah, side hugs only over here.
It's okay. Sometimes you have to do a front hug. Just don't let anything poke you.
So, when I completely lost my thought after that shoulder rub, my toes curled and everything. The back of my hair stood up.
You remember those 5 Gum commercials?
Oh,
I like to think of myself like that sometimes, where you just get tossed in this big well, and then every hair stands up, and you're having the time of your life.
Oh, I thought it was because you're cheap and flavor.
I do drink a lot of Monsters, so I mean there's that.
Yeah, but things are looking up for the Trailblazers, Seahawks.
It's a good time to be a Northwest sports fan. I'm pretty sure Roman any day now is going to be like, screw the Lakers, screw the Clippers, and screw the Patriots. I'm back to a Seahawks and Blazers fan coming up.
Did he ever leave the Seahawks though?
No, he's always been a Seattle fan. But I guarantee you, as soon as they lose first week of the playoffs, you'll be like, man, I love the Niners. I've always been a Niners fan. Go Joe Montana. Love Steve Young. Great big fan.
Glafio with that golden chin.
I don't think he knows who Robert Sacre is.
I don't even know who that is.
Robert Sacre was the GOAT. He was Alex Caruso before Alex Caruso. 7-foot Mexican dude who used to play for the Lakers. Tats everywhere. Your typical prison dude. He was bad, but oh so good.
What's great that with the most recent game that the Seahawks had, they were playing against the Panthers. Got on a close game, a little bit too close for me to be comfortable with. But with that win, and the 49ers losing to who? The Falcons?
The Falcons, yeah. This week of football was amazing to watch. Obviously, the Seahawks game was a little boring. They got out to that huge lead right away. The defense really dominated the whole time. The offense kind of struggled there, which my thing with the Seahawks is, and this has been the problem not just this year, but for years, every single time the defense gets a turnover for you, the Seahawks don't capitalize.
It's like they didn't come up with a game plan quick enough.
Exactly. And it's like, at least waste the time off the clock. If you're up 24-7 and the defense just gets a pick and they got 2 of them back to back, it's like, just waste a 6-7 minute drive, run the football, get some time off of it. So Carolina gets uncomfortable and has to throw more throws and more picks and more turnovers.
Yeah, and force their hands to make those turnovers.
Exactly.
And you can,
which I'm sure is easier said than done.
Yeah, of course. But your best defense should be a long drive. With that, the longer you have the ball out of the opponent's hands, that means the less opportunity they have to score. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
What are you doing with these turnovers that you're forcing the Panthers to have?
And the defense is playing well. And, like the old saying goes, defense wins championships. So for the Seahawks to be playing as well as they are right now defensively, although there's injuries, and there's a lot of injuries. Bobby Wagner's questionable tomorrow. Hands down, probably the best linebacker in the NFL. Quandre Diggs, who has been absolutely crazy this ever since he's gotten traded. I think he has 5 picks in the last 4 games.
Yeah. Something
crazy like that. He's hurt.
With Diggs, though, I think he did say, he is injured, but he wants to play through his injury. So it doesn't seem...
Him and Wagner both, yeah.
So it seems like, they're injured, but it might not be as bad as we think that it is.
Yeah, both had sprained ankles, and... give or take, sprained ankles isn't the worst injury. You rest it, you ice it, you get in the hot tub, you stretch it out. Not too bad.
Do you know what grade it sprains there?
I'm not sure.
If they're able to come play, it's probably a grade 1, and that usually goes away after a week. And football is a week-to-week game.
Yeah. I'm sure they didn't practice all week, but tomorrow is a big game. The Cardinals are definitely not a team to look over. They're definitely up and coming. Come this time next year, we might be talking about the Cardinals in a playoff race.
So let me ask you this: if you put the Cardinals in the Cowboys division,
do they make the playoffs? Yeah. That's actually a good question. I mean, the NFC East is garbage. It is a hot pile of trash. No one wants that playoff seed, and they have a big game tomorrow, the Dallas and Philadelphia. Essentially, the winner gets the playoff seed.
Who are you rooting for?
I would rather have the Eagles win, but at the same time, knowing knowing what position the Seahawks are in, I would want Dallas to win just so Seattle can go play in Dallas. I feel like they're a worse team than Philly. Well, no, let me check. Philly's the worst team, but I wouldn't want Seattle to travel to Philadelphia to play another game. That's tough.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. But right now, with the Seahawks being number one in their division, they have the first seed because they have the longest winning NFC record. So they have a bye in the first round with the Packers. But then the 49ers, who lost to the Falcons, have to play at Cowboys Stadium.
Man, Matt Ryan came in clutch in that Falcons game. Julio Jones did too. That last drive was just an instant classic football moment. You had the referees involved. You had a goal line touchdown, instant review. It was nuts. But for the 49ers to lose like that, that's a dream come true.
It's definitely a gift, and with that gift, the Seahawks definitely need to take advantage of that. They have to win out the 2 games to guarantee that seed. And
San Francisco has a tough game this week, and I know you and I tried texting each other and figuring out the playoff scenarios, and I don't think we have a big enough whiteboard to figure that out. It's pretty difficult. So just to put in perspective, and I might ramble on here, but the Seahawks are 11-3, 49ers are 11-3. Seahawks have the tiebreaker over the 49ers because we beat the 49ers. Okay, so far so good. Seahawks lose to 49ers. What happens then? Well, then it goes to who has the best division record. Well, since we lost to the Rams and San Francisco plays the Rams tonight, actually, that becomes a big game. Well, what if that's tied? Well, then it goes to who's won the most games in the conference. And that's where it gets even more complicated because we lost to the Saints, but they beat the Saints, but we beat the Falcons, so they lost to the Falcons. Either way, whoever figures this out is going to become a millionaire someday. They have like the German code breaking machine. Yeah. What's that book we read? Oh, Digital Fortress. Yeah. They have that thing working for them. Like a computer all humming, just calculating. Not a computer, a house-sized computer. Yeah. Zeros and ones. No, I think the Seahawks, obviously if they win out, they're the number 1 seed in the NFL if the Saints lose one more game and the Saints do play at Tennessee tomorrow. That's pretty simple. You know, the Seahawks control their own destiny, but so do the 49ers. If they win out, then they get the number 1 seed because if they'll obviously beat out us. And they'll have the longest. What my only question is if the Seahawks win this week and the 49ers lose, does it matter if we lose to the 49ers next week? And I think that kind of matters based off what else happens in the NFL to see what the thing is there. That's my only question, but I think we're going to have to wait and see. So the Seahawks would go 12-3. 12-4. 12-4, and then the 49ers would also go 12-4, but then it would go down to who's lost to who, where, when, now. Man, I sent you that text message of the tiebreaker scenarios, like what they go through. They go over the record, division, NFC wins, et cetera, like, and at the very bottom, it's a coin flip. No way, are you kidding me? Nope, it's a coin flip. If everything is tied, coin flip. We'll have another Hales situation. Heads or tails? Tails. Heads. Seahawks. No. Well, didn't he say there's a video of Tarvaris Jackson, the Seahawks quarterback, who goes out and does the coin toss, and he tosses it up in the air, and you know, obviously he's supposed to say heads or tails, but he just gives out a Hales, and the ref's like, tails it is. And then the other team's kind of like, wait, he said heads. No, he said tails. He's like, no, actually I said Hales. And then Seahawks hit the ball and win the game. So I mean, a Jew's gonna be a Jew, and you do what you got to do. Hey, if it works, it works, huh? I do the same thing. Imagine that ref being like a WNBA ref. He gets pissy over everything, and like 10-year penalty on the Seahawks playing mind games. No, officiating has a big thing to do with it, but no, we'll see. I think Seahawks win tomorrow. I think they probably won't win comfortably because it is the Seahawks. They make every game a nail biter. But hopefully San Francisco can drop a loss here to the Rams tonight. So just for chuckles, I pulled up the odds of the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. What do you think of 10-1? That's actually pretty good. Knowing that it's good till I see who's ahead of them. Baltimore at 3-1 is pretty high. I think for a team that's that hot, right? Then again, I don't think anyone in the NFL is going to beat Baltimore, if I want to be honest.
No, can we can safely say that Baltimore's probably going to take it.
Yeah, I think they're the best team in the NFL right now, but things change every week, as we know. I think New England looks a little rusty right now.
I would not have them as
4-1.
4-1.
But it is New England at the end of the day, and they will cheat their way to a championship.
Ball gay again, huh?
Kansas City. I think San Francisco's tumbling a little bit. If they lose tonight, that's bad. That is going to be bad for them.
And the way that the Rams lost to the Cowboys, it was like a 48-45 game, right?
Yeah.
A high-scoring game. And I think the Rams are going to come home. They're going to look at what they did and they go, wow, we suck right now. We're going to play the 49ers, arguably one of the better teams in the NFL.
They're still fighting for pride, too. This was a Super Bowl team last year, so they don't suck at all. Things happen in the NFL. It's really hard to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and then they did beat the Seahawks. But, maybe Rams can finally get their stuff together, do Seahawks a favor.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice. I think Green Bay is the biggest surprise, though, at 16-1. They've quietly had a pretty good year, and no one's really talking about them, which is kind of scary. That defense is legit, and when you have guys like Devontae Adams, the other Adams in the backfield, Aaron Rodgers, obviously. I actually saw a list the other day. This week, for those who don't know, Drew Brees became arguably maybe the best quarterback of all time. He is number 1 right now in passing touchdowns in his career, and number 1 in passing yards, and he got that a while back ago, I think last year actually. So it's hard to say Drew Brees is not the best quarterback just because
he has those numbers.
He has, the 2 stats. Now he doesn't have the championships to go with it like Tom Brady does or stuff like that. But anyway, there was a ranking that came out, and Chris Sims from Bleacher Report, he was part of it, and they basically ranked the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. I can't even say it was this bad. He put Aaron Rodgers at number 1. What has Aaron Rodgers done in his career besides become a diva in the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin?
I mean,
he has 1 ring and no stats to prove. He doesn't have the stats of Drew Brees. He doesn't have the rings of Tom Brady. He doesn't have the greatness of guys like Dan Marino, John Elway. Heck, Russell Wilson has more wins than Aaron Rodgers.
I'm trying to do the math here. I don't see any.
I wouldn't put it in top 5. That guy must have been high and drunk off of his mind. Straight roids and Henny.
Sometimes I feel like these reporters for Bleacher Report literally have note cards, and they shuffle it and they go, all right, who's number 1? How am I going to explain this?
That might be a good point. Some of them are really sus, and Bleacher Report's a great. I like Bleacher Report better than ESPN.
I love their app,
but dude, Aaron Rodgers at number 1.
They need a little a tag on it, like opinion piece. Don't take seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
They act like such an authority on some stuff, and then you're just like, what?
I wouldn't even put him as the number 1 quarterback in the NFL right now. I'd put Patrick Mahomes ahead of him. I'd put
Lamar Jackson,
Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. Heck, Jimmy Garoppolo's a better quarterback right now.
I mean, I guess maybe they're in one point during a game. For one game, he might look like the best quarterback to ever live.
He's clutch. I'd put him top 10 all time, maybe behind Brett Favre somewhere. But you have 1 championship, dude. You've done nothing.
I don't see the math in there at all. Way to ruin my morning, getting me all mad.
That's tough. That's tough. But enough with football. Let's get to our beloved Blazers.
Maybe we're a little bit too hard on the Blazers. They were 5-10. We're they need to start tanking now. The team management.
It's weird. It's weird. You look at both sides right now. The Blazers sit in the 8th seed. That's disappointing.
It really is.
It's disappointing for what our preseason expectations were.
And it's not just disappointing because you're hey, they're in the playoff pictures at this moment. They would be 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the scale of the number 1 seed to the last seed, there's 11 game difference.
Yeah.
It would be different if they're 8th seed and they're 3 games behind.
Exactly. I agree. And then you look at our record and 13-16 sitting right now. That's also that sucks. That's not good. That's not good at all. And the fact that we're 8th seed and 13-16 right now, that's kind of a little miracle, to be honest, that the West is actually this bad right now. Having that said, the Blazers do have some teams ahead of them that I don't think should be. I think the Thunder are not going to be playing as well as they are right now. And they have Utah at 6, which I also think they can pass. But the top 5 right now are very, very good. And with Dallas going into Philly last night without Luka Doncic and absolutely obliterating Joel Embiid and the Sixers, all of a sudden they became a finals contender.
Yeah, I mean, you really didn't know like what to expect without Luka being there. You're like, how good is Porzingis? What can he do? It's not even Porzingis. Like Tim Hardaway went off. There's Seth Curry, who's always a threat. There's just so many players on the Mavs that you're like, oh, they're a baller too.
They're very well coached. They play the system really well. They have just this great, like, kind of, not authority, but this charisma to their team. You know, Dallas has always been a basketball town. Mark Cuban's been a great owner for years there. You know, I say the top 5 in the West are championship contenders right now. I'd say those Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Mavs, Rockets. Any one of those teams can. Obviously, the Lakers have been amazing, and we'll get to why I think they won't. Mm-hmm. But the Blazers are not in that conversation right now, and they're gonna have to make some moves to get in that conversation still.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the Portland Trail Blazers, they actually have an easier schedule for this December.
They do, and they've taken advantage of it so far, which is good to see. Obviously, when you know, the Suns a 1-point win isn't the greatest, but a win's a win. You know, it was a hard-fought win, to say the least.
And it was at the Phoenix Center, whatever the arena's called.
I think it's like it has a funny name. It's like Vivint Smart Home Arena. I want you to look it up. It's something really stupid. Almost as stupid as the bowl games. That last night I was watching the Tostitos Fiesta Frisco Netflix Bowl.
Talking Stick Resort Arena.
That's wow.
Hey,
honey, you want to grab the kids and go talk to the Talking Stick?
What is the new the Pelicans arena?
Smoothie King Center.
That's a better name.
Yeah, I like the Rose Garden. I'll always be a Rose Garden fan. The Motor Center sucks. Rose Garden just has this nice, you know, the Rose Garden.
It embodied Portland so good.
It did, and it sucks we got rid of it for something as dumb as the Moda Center. I don't even know anyone who has Moda Healthcare.
My wife.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
The only one I know.
Wow.
And I work with insurances too.
There you go.
Isn't that weird?
Wow.
But Talking Stick Resort.
I mean,
they need to do some rebranding.
That's what's holding Phoenix back. It's not DeAndre Ayton in his pot. It's the Talking Stick Resort Arena.
How high do you have to be to come up with that name?
As high as Cream City. Nothing like Cream City splashed across your jersey.
Speaking of Cream City, we'll go back to the Blazers talk, but since we're on the topic, Giannis dismantled the Lakers.
He did with a 3-point shot. I guess one could say he was creaming all over the Lakers. The
Lakers were slipping in that cream.
Giannis's cream was all over the floor in that one.
I mean, he literally creamed the Lakers.
Like LeBron got. Oh, the guy was gonna say cream something, but no, that might be pushing it.
But
cream, yes.
It's pretty rare when you see these like 25-win teams this early in the season, and they both match up against each other, and they're like in their prime.
And one gets obliterated like
that. Yeah. I mean, maybe it'll be different if the Bucks play in the Lakers stadium.
So I think since we're on the Lakers, I think with the Lakers they have some issues, and they're finally coming to light. They got off to a fast start. Obviously, 24 wins in your first 30 games, amazing. But you're running Anthony Davis to the ground. He is playing every game. He's a game time decision every game. They're being careful with him, but at the same time, to get off to this fast start, like chill. Like there's 82 games in this thing, man. It's not a horse race.
There are some games that he shouldn't be playing. He should be resting.
I agree.
And the problem is, Anthony Davis wants to play. He knows there's that knock against him. Oh, you know, he's always having the injury bug. He's always sitting out games. And before the season began, he said, I want to play every game.
Right, but you look at the Clippers right now, and even though the Clippers have a worse record and are lower in the standings, I wouldn't bet against them in a series against the Lakers. I would throw all my money at the Clippers. There's just no way. A team that loaded, that deep.
The Clippers are only 3 games behind, though.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And they've rested Kawhi and Paul George alternately for quite a while now.
Yeah. And then with Anthony Davis, he's coming onto the floor every night with a nagging shoulder injury.
And there's no one else. I mean, don't get me wrong. LeBron and AD are two top 5 players in the NBA by far. So anytime you have two of those guys, you don't really need, the flashiest of role players. But at the same time, when you have guys like Rondo, Avery Bradley, Jared Dudley, Kyle Kuzma hasn't been all too great.
Quinn Cook.
Wait,
is it Quinn Cook?
Quinn Cook does play on the team, yeah.
Yeah.
They have no guards whatsoever. Their centers are great, but they need some help. And I was seeing some rumors they were even thinking about trading Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
That's why. Do the Lakers think it's worth it? I mean, you trade away Brandon Ingram, has turned into a star overnight. You trade away Julius Randle. He's a star, but he's a star in New York, which doesn't count.
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell has literally turned into a superstar. So that's 3 guys, and you're willing to let go of a 4th.
And the biggest mistake is they let Lonzo Ball go.
I mean, I don't know about biggest mistake, but he's been kind of iffy. I still believe in Lonzo. I think he gets it together at some point in his career.
That was a complete joke. I think he's terrible.
He's hurt all the time.
He's hurt, yeah.
He needs to get that fixed. But are the Lakers really willing to go all in on LeBron's last 3 years? Because if they don't win a championship this year, I don't know about next year, man. The Clippers are going to come back stronger. The Warriors are going to look really good next year.
Lakers have a tendency to just gamble their young core away.
Why? Look at Charlotte. Charlotte, they're going to get another pick this year, but they look great.
Yeah.
Phoenix, they've been rebuilding for years now, but all of a sudden you get guys like Oubre, Ayton, Booker. That's a great core to build around.
And with the Hornets too, is they're a team that they're supposed to lose, but they're a pesky loss.
I hope they make the playoffs.
I
I really do. They're a great team to watch.
There's some teams we said in our playoff predictions that we thought were going to be bad. I hope we're dead wrong about.
Yeah, I agree. And I hope the Bulls just sit in 15th because with all that talent on their team, they still suck.
And then with the Lakers too, they have one of the easiest schedules.
I saw that. Number 1, I think, believe it.
They're 28th.
Oh, in strength of schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And going back to the Portland Trailblazers, we're sitting at number 12. And, I think the division that Portland's in is probably one of the tougher ones out there.
It is the best division. When you have to play the Thunder, very tough team. You have to play the Jazz, another tough team. The Nuggets, the Kings are no slouches either. No, the Kings aren't in our division, but we do play them 4 times.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves obviously fighting for playoff positioning as well. I don't know. I don't know what to think about Portland right now. I think a 3-1 win streak is exactly what we needed. The ball is finally rolling, but I just get this inevitable feeling that it's going to get stopped,
I mean, they play the Timberwolves. We don't know if Cats can play tonight or not.
Tonight's a huge game. For the Blazers' next 3 games are even bigger than their last 3. And I know we were talking and I was saying if the Blazers can win these next 5-6 in a row, hey, they're back.
Yeah,
they're back completely. It's time to start thinking trades and getting your team better. No more lottery, no more this or that.
Do you want to talk about the Phoenix game and go into the Magic game a little bit?
Yeah, no, the Magic kind of looked a little sloppy last night. It was a very sloppy game in general. There was more than 40 turnovers last night between both teams. But Dame really stepped up. Dame and CJ really, took it by the horns and finished it with a win.
Yeah, and it's great seeing Bazemore kind of click a little bit better. I said it earlier on the top of the Blazer top when we started talking about Blazers. Maybe we're a little bit too harsh on them too early because they're still grooving and jiving. And now Whiteside is a double monster. He's not getting 10 and 10s. He's getting
20 and 15s.
Yeah, 20 and 15s, 20 rebounds on night is not a weird night for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he's finally, the effort's there. And that's what we care about most. Because, stats are great when we're, checking Yahoo Fantasy and looking, to blow out our opponent. But at the same time, the effort has to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does seem like Whiteside has that now. You can see the way that he's playing, the way he's moving, the way he's guarding people now. It seemed like Dame might have sat him down.
He clogs the center position really well in the defensive end. Offensively, he has that hook shot that just keeps falling. As long as that keeps going in, I'm fine. It's clicking. And Melo's definitely helped as well.
Yeah, and, with Melo being such a big isolation player, you do see him passing the ball, and you see people passing him the ball as well.
He's the guy we needed.
Yeah,
He is exactly the guy we needed. And even watching the game last night, saying, I think we mentioned Evan Fournier is a guy that maybe the Blazers should go out and get.
that's true.
You know, I think maybe offering a base more and maybe a second round or first round, or I don't know, for Evan Fournier, that'd be a nice ad, because he was the player Mario Hezonja should have been.
Oh man,
And Mario has been nothing close to that. Talking trades though, it's starting to heat up. There has been some really good conversations. Obviously, there's been reports of the Cavs listening already to offers about Kevin Love, and apparently the offers really aren't really what they were supposed to be. They want a first round pick, but a lot of teams aren't really willing to give that away for Kevin Love.
I mean, do they want just a first round pick, or do they want?
They want a first round pick and a young player, but I don't think that's what they're going to get from anyone.
I mean, maybe 2 years ago they can get that.
Do you think the Nuggets would trade Kevin Love for Michael Porter Jr. in a first round pick?
I don't think so, not at all.
You don't think the Nuggets would?
No, I think the Nuggets are pretty loyal to their team.
I've heard they love Michael Porter and that he's close to untouchable.
And when you watch him play, there is flashes of brilliance.
Yes.
And it's just like, what can we do to just tweak this guy just a little bit? That maybe we don't need his output to be 100% every moment that he has the ball, but 80%. How can we get him there? Because I can see him being like a face of a franchise.
I wouldn't bet against that. Yeah. Not at all. I think he's a great player. I think him calling Luka Doncic is a little overrated, but
all right, okay,
that's kind of cringy. Like, really, you're gonna say Luka's overrated?
Man, when you don't have a piece of carbon fiber taped to your ankle to make sure you don't trip.
Yeah, that's tough, man. But
you and your droplet, you can
back to the Blazers. Timberwolves tonight. Hopefully, Cat doesn't play. Then again, we probably won't have Carmelo Anthony tonight.
Which would, if Cat doesn't play, I think that offsets Melo.
I agree.
I do think that even with Cat, I feel like the Trailblazers are a better team. Mm-hmm. But this is the type of games that Blazers love to lose.
Exactly, the ones we need to win.
That need to win, and we should win.
And the thing is, the Blazers win tonight. You have the Pelicans coming up, another very easy game that you should get.
And then we play the really underperforming Jazz.
So I mean, that's 3 games right there to put you at 500. That, I mean, obviously that's perfect movie plot right there, storyline type thing, and that's not how it always happens. But you won last night. Minnesota played in Denver last night. It was a close game. They're tired. They had to fly here. Go get the win tonight. Go to 14-16. Set yourself up.
Yeah, and then with the Phoenix game, I think that was a great benchmark. I don't know if you and me were talking about it off air, but we were saying the Phoenix Suns is a benchmark.
Yeah.
And if we can beat them, we know where we're actually, like, what we're actually made of. And it was a disgusting game. I have never seen so many fouls so quickly.
The refs are awful. I think that was the first game this year where I was just like, okay, the refs are awful. And you could blame a lot of stuff. Both teams could blame a lot of stuff on the refs in that game. It actually came down to the refs at the very end with the blocking call. Yeah,
and they, at least in the second half, the refs kind of got their crap together. Because the first half, I mean, I think in the very first quarter, there was...
It looked like the NFL out there. Both the refs and players.
Yeah, and I think the Blazers had like 10 fouls in like the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, it was awful. It was someone got 4 in the second quarter.
Yeah, it was
Dame or Melo, one of the two.
I think it was Damian Lillard, because Damian Lillard came in the second half and he was pissed.
Yeah, he came out firing.
Yeah, in the second half he went off. It was like the typical Damian Lillard in the third quarter.
Kelly Oubre though is going to be a star, man. He looks good.
Yeah.
He looks really good. If he wasn't playing in the West, he might be an all-star in the East this year.
That's very true, yeah.
But sucks to suck.
But yeah, it came down to that last call the refs have to make, where who was it?
Dave was going to the hoop.
Baines, right?
Baines, yeah, went in for a charge. Foot was on the restricted line. He was moving.
No.
Called it a block.
He was outside the restricted line, but Dame was up in the air, and when they made contact, or right before, he dragged his foot into the restricted area.
Came underneath.
And so that's why a lot of Phoenix Sun fans were upset about the call, because they're like, hey, clearly his feet were planted before Dame made contact with him. But man, if he didn't...
But he still got into Dame's way, you know? Like, he was planted, yes, but he was underneath Dame when Dame was in the air. And you can't just You can't do that. If you're planted and the guy runs you over, obviously it's a charge. But if you're planted, the guy jumps, and then you move your body to get underneath him. Well,
Yeah, and that's when you kind of have to respect Damian Lillard. Like, you want to say he's top 10 NBA player right now, right?
we had this conversation, and I don't know. I don't know if I'd put Dame top 10.
But
I've been frustrated with him this year, but
I would put him top 5 teammate because the way he handled that situation where he knew
top 3 leader.
top 3 leader, maybe top 1.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the best leader?
He was voted best leader
by coaches.
That's right. That's right.
But top 5 teammate, and what I mean by teammate is like someone who will help give you a win, because Damian Lillard, with his high basketball IQ, knew that I can go for a 3. They will still have plenty of time, or I can go for a 2-1. The way he made that scenario and the way that he got that and won,
yeah,
it really
Closed out
shows.
the game.
Yeah, it really shows his experience on that.
No, and I agree with you on that. Dame's a guy where it's kind of the Kemba Kyrie scenario, where you have Kyrie, this terrible, terrible teammate, come into Boston, ruin things, leave. And then you get a guy like Kemba Walker in there, who's a great class act guy, and Boston's playing well.
Kemba can come to my birthday party. I'll just say
Walker,
that.
Dame and Kemba can both come to my birthday party. That'd be a fun time.
We have cake.
Do you think what kind? Costco?
Costco cheat cake.
That's the best cake.
Don't argue with me.
I don't think anyone who says Papa Haydn or just any one of those little bistros in downtown that, oh, I found this popular spot that 48,000 other people went to. No, Costco cake is the best cake, period. Chocolate, carrot cake, whatever you want.
Did you hear about
What's your favorite cheesecake? And don't say regular.
Cheesecake Factory has a lemon.
Lemon, yeah, I like lemon. Like a lemon tart.
Yeah, it's not overly sweet or whatever. But did you hear about the NBA changing or proposing?
Oh, the schedule changes. That was weird. So 78 games, in-season tournament. Whoever wins the in-season tournament, $1 million
and
each player.
And I think the team gets a 7th or 8th pick.
Really?
I think so. Let me.
Wow. And then there was also playing for the playoffs as well.
Yeah. And they want to reseed the Final Four. According to
I don't know about that. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I would rather have them.
It would make sense because it'd be cool if like the number 1 team, say it's the Lakers, and the number 4 team is Boston. It'd be cool to see that travel, and it would almost make for like this massive conference championship. But then how you wouldn't be able to award a conference champion?
That's true. Maybe they would go off of record at the end of the year, but like this website I'm reading off of USA Today, they're saying the last 2 game or series of games. Wait, this semifinals, it would have been Portland and Toronto. I'm sorry, Milwaukee would play Portland and Toronto would play Golden State Warrior
For the conference, if it was last year.
Yeah.
And we could have had a Milwaukee-Toronto final. Wow. That's crazy. I love how they counted the Blazers right away. Like, yeah, no way the Blazers would beat the Bucks in that play position. So obviously it'd be the Bucks and the Raptors in the finals. Well, screw you too, man. No one likes you in your Cream City.
I love Giannis though.
Giannis likes Cream City.
I don't, man, I can't find any information because I keep getting.
I'm sure the pick is kind of up for debate because it's tough to give up a lottery pick for an in-season tournament winner because a lottery pick's so valuable.
Yeah.
I would see like giving away the 31st pick, adding another pick in the draft. That'd be something worth. But the $1 million per player, that's kind of a cool.
Maybe I think it'd be better if they didn't give a lottery pick, but right outside of lottery.
I agree. Have the 15th pick of the draft be like a consolation pick.
Yeah, and you give the team a lottery pick, and then you give each player an extra $1 million.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. I'd still prefer preseason just to see the hype before the actual NBA season, and then go with 78 games, because in season, how are we going to keep track of that? I mean, obviously we will, but for a lot of people that might be kind of like, oh, we got football going on. Wait, is this a regular season game or is this the Netflix PlayStation Bowl of the NBA? Like it.
This is the Doritos Bowl.
Is Doritos, Fiesta, Cheetos, Nachos, In-N-Out Bowl?
Locale.
This is the Diet Coke Mountain Dew Bowl. Like, I don't know. I think that it's cool, but I still would rather have preseason.
Before we move on, you and me were talking about an article from Blazers Edge, specifically about Blazers trading CJ McCollum for Drew Holiday.
I've thought about it for a while now, and I just don't know. Would you?
I think when I first read it and I read the article, I said, hey, everything in here makes perfect sense. I would do it. But now that I think about it, I slept on it. You know, I meditated, did some math. I don't think I would do it.
Cream City.
Yeah. Okay, they say Holiday has better defense. He can do a lot that CJ can do.
Okay, well, how about this? I think this is the point we kind of have to make. And we do have a bias towards CJ, but thinking strictly basketball terms. Who is a better basketball player, Drew Holiday or CJ McCollum? Drew Holiday. You have to give it to Drew Holiday.
But by how much, though?
I give it to him by a landslide. Drew Holiday, I could argue, is a top 20 player in the NBA.
Yeah, true.
Obviously, CJ was on ESPN's list, but I wouldn't put CJ personally in the top 13 as ESPN did. I think Holiday's defensively great. I think pairing him with Lillard, great. I think the way he runs the floor, great. How good of a teammate he is, everything he does, amazing. Not to say CJ isn't any of those things, but CJ defensively is a liability. Offensively, he's one of the best players in the NBA.
And some neckbeard wearing a Portland Timbers scarf is in a comment tweet us saying, hey, you know, CJ's really stepped up his defensive game. Yeah, he did, but
he still gets scored on by guys like J.R. Smith would get buckets on CJ.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Not yet.
I don't think so. And we know Holiday. He shut down CJ and Dame both in a playoff series. So I would make, if it was straight up CJ for Drew, I would make the trade. I think they're going to want a lot more for Drew Holiday. Probably CJ and like 2 first rounders, maybe Anthony Simons.
I mean, I don't know why the Pelicans are trying to trade him away. I mean, you have Zion, you have Lonzo, you have Brennan Ingram.
It's a lost year. They only have 5 wins, 5-23. I don't know.
But would you really give Holiday away though?
I wouldn't. I think maybe he wants to leave.
If he wants to leave, then yeah.
Maybe he's going to be that next player that wants out, and maybe it's time for Portland to finally take that step.
Maybe the LeBron needs to reach out to the Pelicans organization.
I think.
And do it cleanly this time and try to get...
And do it cleanly. What did he not do last time? Cream City'd all over the Pelicans, said, hey, give me Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
That was tough, but, you know, I think Portland should make a run at Drew. Honestly. I think if they can give up CJ to get Drew, have Damon Drew in the backcourt like that, and still get Hassan Whiteside and pair him with, trade him for Kevin Love or Blake Griffin. Could you imagine Dame, Drew, Melo, Griffin, Nurkic?
That seems like...
That's a 2K lineup.
Yeah, that's like I override this commissioner kind of 2K.
Yeah. That's a turn off projections, trades, and 2K and just make whatever you want. That's crazy.
Oh, man. These are getting harder now.
I would make the deal.
I
think Neil O'Shea has finally come to this point in his tenure here in Portland where it's either you have balls or you don't. And he has not had balls because he went out and signed guys like Anthony Tolliver and Mario Hezonja, for crying out loud.
And at least he was smart about it. He didn't give them like a 5-year contract.
Yeah, he gave him 1 year, but still. I think this is the time to make a move because you can't make a move this summer. You can't. Whiteside contract expires. Bazemore's expires. And there's no one out there to get. Maybe you can go after DeMar DeRozan. Who says he wants to come to Portland?
Also, Bobby Marks, great reporter, breaks a lot in breaking news. He made a great point saying, you know, DeMar DeRozan, a lot of teams don't want to give him max money, and he's gonna be a free agent. And
I agree and disagree with that. At the same time, there's not a lot of free agents, but there's a lot of money this offseason. So a team like Detroit, who maybe doesn't let go of Griffin or Drummond, gives them that max money. Obviously, they don't really have the max money to give, but they find room. You know, trade away Reggie Jackson or something like that. Maybe Miami is one of those teams also. Pair him with Jimmy Butler. I think a team will.
Yeah.
Personally. If you go somewhere like the Lakers, no way. Not a chance.
But that feeds into your point. Like, we got to make these deals this year.
Exactly. And there's just no one else. There's not a lot of guys this summer that the Blazers have to go after, so they have to do it now. And the Blazers are in a good position for what preseason wise. No, they're in a terrible position. But for what's happened, going with the flow type thing, I like where they're at.
Yeah, and when they were on that large losing skid, it was rough, and they didn't seem to have a lot of buying power. But now that the December 15th, all those contracts are available now, they are approaching a winning record, and they have those big contracts. It looks like they are in a position to actually make a trade.
And every game matters way more now. So now the fact that the Blazers are in the 8th seed, it's catch-up mode. You know you're in the 8th seed. You know you're not taking this year away. You know you're not going for the lottery. It's done. It's over with. Each game just matters double all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know, losing games like tonight to Minnesota, it'd be heartbreaking. Honestly, even this early on to say that sucks, but you can't lose these games.
And Minnesota has Jake Layman. They miss Jake Layman so much.
Yeah, I agree. Layman's hurt right now, but I mean that's a different subject. But I wish we had Jake right now.
Yeah, Jake Layman was great. He was one of those role players.
If we had Jake and we didn't have Mario,
my heart.
Man, I'm sure money comes into play, but it's not like Jake Layman's earning a lot of money in Minnesota. He's earning barely nothing, and so is Mario. Huge difference.
I would trade Tolliver and Mario for Jake Layman.
I would totally do that. I agree. Awful move by Neil O'Shea, and those little moves add up. It's the little ones.
I mean, sure, like back in last season, he got a little bit streaky. He would get hot, then he'd get really cold. But
he played so well. He did everything that Aminu and Harkless couldn't, and gave us so much versatile on offense.
You could say defensively he was a little bit lacking, but
he would block shots like crazy too.
Exactly.
Imagine him and Bazemore on the wings. I don't know. Bad move.
Did Layman play power forward at all for us?
When we go small ball, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have Mario Hezonja going power forward for us half the time.
And it's awful. Just as awful as Anthony Tolliver playing the 4 or the 5.
Hey, at least Anthony Tolliver takes charges.
If you have to... There was a rule back in high school. If the coach like licks you off because you take charges, then you suck at basketball. Because literally you're out there to take charges.
That's me, probably.
Like, that's not cool. I don't know. Go block the shot. Be athletic.
All those things I'm not.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying you're on the team, you know.
Only for charges. Like, how one-dimensional is your defensive game?
Oh, they take charges.
Take charges and get cream.
Imagine. All right, I will bet every penny at some point this year, there has to be a money line out there somewhere for this, where Giannis is going to wear a Cream City jersey, drive the lane, dunk it all over Tolliver with a Cream City right on his chest, and I will hang that up in my room.
You'll get a poster of that. You get that framed.
Because Anthony Tolliver just got Cream City'd by Giannis.
Well, to be fair, I know we give Tolliver a lot of crap, but half the NBA is going to have that picture taken.
Yeah, I mean, it is Giannis.
I mean, Giannis is so dominant, he'll dunk on his own teammates.
Do you think the Rockets are a championship contender?
I don't think the Rockets are championship contenders.
They beat the Clippers.
They beat the Clippers. Like a lot of analysts say, they're a season-winning team, but they're not a playoff-winning team.
I think James Harden's crazy. He is crazy good, but like you said, that's in the regular season. And the playoffs is a different game when teams start playing defense.
But I do think that they have a chance. I don't think they have as good a chance as the Nuggets or the Clippers or the Mavs. But you know, if James Harden has an off night like he did with the Warriors there in the last playoffs, if he has an off night, he's not shooting that great, the team suffers and they'll lose. They'll lose. When he's on and he's on fire and the other team can't stop him, they're winning.
Yeah, that's a good point. But Russell Westbrook does add another dimension to that team. As much as we don't like Westbrook, I think him and Harden, they coexist very well.
You know, from everything we hated Westbrook. We said some chants.
The guy was public enemy number 1 here.
Yeah, but off the court, I hear he's a great guy.
I'm sure he is.
I'm sure almost all basketball players.
Then
are.
again, off the court, technically, when he's in the media room, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, but sometimes they do ask stupid questions.
Yeah,
and like if you
I agree.
if you look at Kawhi's like interviews and everything, Kawhi's like people make memes out of him, but he's annoyed by the reporters.
Yeah, he does not want anything to. I probably would too. Imagine after every day at work, you have to talk to reporters.
There's a reporter who asked Kawhi, like, hey, you know, Christmas game's coming up. What do you think about it? Kawhi was like, you know, 2 more games before that. I'm not thinking about it at all. But in his really robotic voice. 2 days later, reporter, same question. Kawhi, you asked me that yesterday or a couple days ago. Same answer.
Like, why? Why would you ask that? Who cares about Christmas Day against the Lakers when you still have, exactly 2 or 3 more games left? And then the headline you see is LeBron, not worried about LeBron on Christmas. Well, yeah, but did you read the interview? Man, CNN.
Fake news.
CNN did.
Impeach the reporters.
All of them from day one.
All right, let's play a fun game. You have to impeach one player off the Trailblazers. What is your case?
Oh, man. Tolliver for ugliness. And
Wow,
Hazonia for suckiness.
But you gotta pick one.
I gotta pick one. Maybe we should post this on Instagram.
Yeah, maybe.
Ask who would you impeach on the Blazers as of right now? Just completely get rid of.
I'll whip it up right now.
Let's do it. We'll do it after the podcast is up. But I think I would go Tolliver.
No, man, you gotta go with Hazonia.
I at least like
Tolliver actually has some things he can do.
Take charges.
Take charges.
That's it.
Hazonia's skill, the thing that he puts on his resume, is get rim checked.
Oh, I mean, Hazonia's pretty garbage. I don't know. It's definitely down to those two. It can't be anyone else.
Maybe we're just being mean. Maybe they're just having a consistently bad season.
No, impeach Hazonia or Tolliver for sure. We'll tag both of them and we'll see what they think. Because they did get in that fight with that little kid whose picture was better. Oh, you remember that?
And the kid is like, I want a real basketball player.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we can do the same.
Like the Moses Brown is like sitting in the corner talking to some other kid, and the kid's like, I got to deal with Tolliver and Hazonia. I'd rather talk to Moses Brown.
I would rather have Moses Brown on the team than either of those two scrubs.
Moses Brown, Hooper.
Yeah.
Hooper.
Yeah. He's uncoordinated. He's young, but he's gonna get there one day.
When he's on the floor, you can kind of tell he's a rookie. But man, I like what the effort is. Just all I want to see.
Exactly. And effort goes a long way. When you see even Oklahoma City right now trying hard, playing tough defense, and look where they are, 7th in the West,
14,
ahead of
14,
the Portland Trail Blazers. Who would have thought?
And they're winning games by effort.
They are. Strictly. Not Chris Paul, as much as I hate the guy even more than Russell Westbrook, he gets it done.
Are we changing his nickname from CP3 to Chris the Ref Paul?
Dude, the guy needs to stop. He is so petty. That's the worst thing he could do. Call out another player for, hey, ref, jersey untucked. Like, what? Are you really that tryhard?
But no. Imagine Chris Paul. He's like, I was on a championship contender team with the Rockets, got traded to the scrub team. I'm going to work and bite and nail every single chance I can to get into the playoffs, to show people that my trade value here, and I want to go to a winning team.
I think Chris Paul is not going to win a championship. What if the Lakers go out and get Chris Paul? But they would have to give up some serious pieces.
Do they even have?
I don't think so.
They don't have the cap room for that.
They might, but they would have to get rid of who? You would have to.
Well, let me pull this up.
You would have to get into it kind of deep for that one.
Hoops hype.
But Chris Paul, I mean, he played on the Clippers team back in the day that was supposed to be the next up and coming, and they were. They played really great for a long time, but then the Warriors happened, and I think. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I didn't finish it though. So
for those who don't know, and this is no spoiler alert or anything, Game of Thrones basically is like 5 kings battling for the right to the Iron Throne, right? And all these kings are battling it out, who's gonna win it, this and that. And then out of nowhere, the problem that they don't see, and it's the most important problem, is the White Walkers. Coming from the north. And it's a whole bunch of zombies from the north coming to attack them. The Warriors are the White Walkers. They're dead. They're deader than dead. They're in graves right now. But next year, when Draymond Green is back, healthy, which this year I don't count as Draymond Green.
He's injured.
Yeah.
He's resting.
D'Angelo Russell. Oh, that's a pretty good team. Steph Curry. Oh, wow, that's a really good team. Klay Thompson. Oh, Willie Cauley-Stein. Oh, the number 1 pick in the draft. Oh my goodness.
And their bench is not bad.
And you get all these role players: Kai Bowman, Eric Pascal, Glenn Robinson, Alec Burks. Yeah, these guys are gonna get moved around. And if they trade the number 1 pick, I'm sorry, but if I could place a bet right now on the Warriors to win the 2021 NBA championship, I would.
Well, do you think Klay Thompson will be anything like he was before?
Oh, he's a shooter. You can have 4 torn Achilles and still be fine.
All right.
You know, he's a shooter. He was never athletic.
So I pulled up the Lakers salary situation here.
LeBron AD number 1. Oh, Danny Green. I don't know if they're going to get rid of Danny Green. They would have to get rid of a lot. They would have to send KCP, Luol Deng's stupid contract, Avery Bradley, and JaVale McGee just to even get close. No, that wouldn't even be close.
They would literally have to trade
their whole team just to...
So basically they keep LeBron, they keep Anthony Davis, Danny Green, and KCP, and they would trade everyone else.
I think they would probably have to trade Kyle Kuzma, a first-round pick, KCP, Luol Deng's contract OKC would take on, Avery Bradley. The thing is, I don't think they would want to keep Danny Green. I feel like there's a way. They also have some room to work with, too.
Mm-hmm.
They're not number 1 in payroll like the Blazers are. Jeez. They're not even top 10. Wow. There you go.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see. Interesting year coming up. December 15th has passed. Trades are going to get started here soon. And hopefully Portland makes some move. And hopefully Portland wins these next 3.
Yeah. What do you think their chances are winning the next 3?
I'd say pretty low, just because to win 3 games in the NBA is hard, especially when you just won 3. Mm-hmm. But 1 game at a time. Right. You win tonight. You're 14-16. It looks good for you. You're at 8th seed. You know, it's a big game also because Minnesota is in the West and they're still fighting for playoffs. So they say it's a big game. So win tonight, 4 in a row. Prove that you can get it done on a Saturday night and go into a very easy game on Monday. All
right. Well, let's hopefully the Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play tonight. That would be a big help. Yeah, big help. But other than that, I think that's it.
I should wrap it up to next time.
Yeah.
Go Hawks tomorrow. Big game.
Easy win. Easy.
I don't know about easy, but go Rams tonight also and beat those Niners.
All right. I think that's it. You guys can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Anything else?
Stay Cream City.
Cream City. Later, guys.